The thing is, this is disability across the board. You're going to give it, thank you for giving sympathy. Sympathy is nice, but we're still people. And pity,
my life isn't
doesn't
over.
Help. Yeah. Pity doesn't help. Because it's a negative emotion, and you're giving me that because I'm not fitting into your outlook of what a normal person is. What the hell is a normal person? We're all bloody different. Like, you know,
who wants to be normal anyway? Normal's boring.
Yeah, normal's boring, right? I wouldn't be who I am without my fibro warrior status. Welcome to the Slut Drops Hurt podcast with me, Maisie.
And me, Beth. We are two fibro warriors intent on sharing perspectives and stories with the chronic illness community.
Expect real talk with a dash of humour thrown in as me and my favourite fibro friend tackle a range of topics.
Slut Drops Hurt. Yes, a rather cheeky name. It comes from our common realisation that as two divas with chronic illness, slut dropping in the club is way more challenging for us, as are many more things in life.
We hope by sharing our experiences with some of you, we can contribute positively to our Spoonie community.
Today's episode is Becoming a Warrior.
In part 2, we explore life after diagnosis and dealing with an illness that has no cure.
My question for you now is, what was it like when you were told what it was?
It's funny, I told myself what I had before doctors did. When I was doing a lot of independent research, because obviously you've got to wait months for tests. Like, blood tests are the only nearly instant thing. So I had a lot of time to doom scroll on NHS website and blogs and all sorts. So I figured out a good 2 or 3 months before my rheumatology appointment that it would be fibromyalgia. And I remember having a conversation with my GP a few weeks beforehand, because I wanted to talk to him about what the potential of it being that is. And bless my GP, as much as he believed me, and he was a very supportive doctor, he had no knowledge of fibro at all. He had none. He was like, there's a good chance it could be, but I don't know too much about it. And I was like, it's okay, I do. I have been Googling for so long. So when the diagnosis came through, it was just it was quite numbing at first. Like, the first couple of weeks, I was just kind of sat there thinking, all right, well, I knew that. But at the same time being really annoyed that I knew. I was like, why? Like, I'm annoyed that I figured this out before anybody else did.
Yeah. I could see that being quite frustrating for you.
It was, and it just... Yeah, like, the diagnosis itself was fine. If anything, I had a right laugh in the appointment because I went in with a 2-page document being like, these are all of my symptoms, these are all the tests I've had done and all of the results. I think it's fibromyalgia, but what do you think? Yeah. And she literally went, okay, if you could just stand up for me. Did the pressure point thing. I screamed. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I think it's definitely fibromyalgia. And I was like, cool, all right, what do I do?
Yeah. That's the hardest. What do you do?
Well, this is it. Her initial suggestion was magnesium and CBD oil, but it was an unofficial help, because I said to her that I'd been doing some research on things like CBD and magnesium, and I was like, some people seem to say they help, but they don't. What's your professional opinion? And she was like, well, they don't do any harm, so you might as well give it a go, kind of thing. And I was like, oh, okay.
She's redeemed herself in that sense, because I'd have been like, is that all she gave you?
No. Then she gave me about 6 leaflets on different types of exercises to try.
Oh, God.
Ding, ding, ding.
Red flag.
You could try Tai Chi, yoga, swimming, walking. I was like, oh my God.
And I was just like, I can't
swim though. My knees pop out of place when I swim, so that don't help. Tai Chi, where am I going to find classes for that? Like, come off it. Is that
do you know what gets me about all these classes they tell you to do is you have to pay for it yourself?
Yeah, that's the fun part. And I was also sat there thinking to myself, well, I can't afford a gym membership because you're looking at £30 above a month, and I ain't got 30 quid to spare, especially now I've got to buy medication. Like, ooh.
Yeah, prescriptions alone. And don't get me wrong, we're lucky we have the NHS. We're very pleased they're not as expensive as they could be.
Yes, very pleased, but still.
Yeah, they're expensive. Even buying the card for a year is still an expense. It's interesting you say that was your experience in the room.
Yeah, like The room itself, I just kind of had a bit of a laugh with it because, like I said, I wasn't surprised. I had diagnosed myself already. I'd done so much research. I'd obviously spoken with you quite a lot. I remember we did a girly shopping day, didn't we? And
I was about to
we
mention.
were talking about it, yeah. And we were talking about it, and I remember thinking to myself, I was like, God, I don't want to say that I have fibro to Maisie because obviously she has fibro. And then what if it turns out I don't have fibro? And then that just makes me look like a bit of an idiot. And then I thought, no, do you know what? Maisie will understand. I'm just going to ask.
It's okay. I'm really glad you asked me because I, on the flip side of that, was going, when am I going to tell her that I think she has this or something chronic? Because I was like, I could tell, I was like, because we'd done a lot of functions and things together at uni and I could see you struggling a little bit. And I was like, when am I going to tell her that I think she has something chronic without possibly upsetting her or leading to misdiagnosis? Because I don't want to do that. And so when you brought it up, I was like, okay, we can talk about it. I think there is something wrong with you.
The honest to God relief when we were shopping that day, and like I just did it. Like I was probably psyching myself up to just ask what you thought because I was like, anyone's going to know. Maisie will know. I was so scared to like offend you or I don't know, ask you something too personal, because it's just, you don't want to just walk up to somebody and be like, hey, I know we're good friends and everything, but like, can I just ask you about that disability you've got? Like, it's not a normal conversation. Like, but
it's so
not a conversation I'd had.
But it's so interesting as well because you were one of my friends that I would have termed in that point of my life as a true ally. Like you were one of the friends that I had that like I'd had friends at uni and stuff, but there was always a part that held back. There was never a part held back from you. Like there was always because you were what I would call understanding without pitying. Like you just let me live my life and supported in the best way, which was like, Maisie, what do you need or what can I do? Or do you want me to just shut up and would you deal with it and we'll just have a great day? And sometimes it would be one way and sometimes it'd be another. So like, that's why I was like, I feel like I should tell her because I feel we have this relationship.
Well, this is it. I definitely felt that. I was like, I feel like we do have this relationship where we're super open. Obviously, you'd been there for me throughout all of this, like diagnosing and stuff. And I've been talking to you pretty much every step of the way. But it's just that realization that it is something chronic. And actually having the courage to say it out loud is very big jump because I had been wanting to ask you for a while as well. It was something that I'd been thinking for a long time and I'd already done a lot of research at this point and I've been dying to ask you, but by asking you it was like admitting to myself that this is the last port of call. There's nothing that's going to show up on any test because they've all come back, positive and nothing's wrong. So I knew that it was something chronic, but the idea of speaking it out loud and asking for advice was such a jump because it was admitting to myself that okay, this is what's happening now. This is your life now.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you kind of knew that meant no cure. Like
that was the hard part, was no cure. Like nothing I could do to fix it, and I'm very much a fixer.
I know. Me too. We have that very much in common. We like to be productive people and get things back on an even keel when things go wrong. Yeah.
This is it. And like I've always been so like proactive about everything, and I mean like everything in my life, like even mental health. When I've hit really like dark stages, I've always been like, oh, there it is, dark stage, call the GP. New round of therapy, please. Like always been so proactive with my health, and then to figure out there's nothing more I can do, in terms of it's never going to go away. Like there's things I could do, but you ain't going to fix it.
You're like, you have to deal with the idea of managing. So like, interesting, your experience in the room being diagnosed is very different to my experience in the room.
Oh, tell me about yours.
I was in my college clothes. I had gone just from sixth form, I remember. And I was like, I'd gone through so many tests at this point. I was like, please just have an answer. I had no clue what this was. Like, at this point,
there was way less research when you were getting diagnosed as well.
Yeah, I thought it was all in my head. Like, everyone had kind of been implying it was all in my head, and I was just having this really severe depression, and I was someone called me attention seeking quite a bit.
Brilliant.
People did have that view, and some teachers understood.
People still do.
Yeah, that's the thing, like, because no one could, I was supposed to just be this healthy girl, like, so yeah, it was very difficult. I went with my nan, and we sat in there, and the rheumatologist sort of went through, I think that you have a certain type of illness, but we won't go through it until I do a certain amount of tests. And then she got up, she did all sorts of things. So then she did the pressure point test. I never screamed so loud in my life. It hurt so much.
So bad.
I had this weird moment of, oh, someone's actually pressed where it hurts, and it does hurt, and she seems to know that that's where it's supposed to hurt. So maybe this thing, something that is wrong with me, is a
Give you
real
a bit of
thing.
hope.
Yeah, so I remember going through this whole moment of, what is it? What? Like,
what did you just do to me?
What did you just do? Yeah, what is this test you've just done that actually pinpoints where my pain is that no one's done before? And she sat me down and she told me what she thought it was. She told me what fibromyalgia was. I was like, what the hell is that? I bet I can't even spell it. Yeah. What the hell is that? And she gave me this, I had one leaflet given to me, and that weight of, I was just like, well, you've told me I've got something great, but like, it looks like this is not supposed to be for someone of my age. How have I got this? And then we went through that question. What's causing it? I don't know. Okay, well, what can I do about it? There's not much you can do. And that hit me so hard, because I was just like, in my mind, at that point in my life, when you got sick, you were treated and you got better. I had an able-bodied look on what disability actually was. So I thought, well, you get sick, you get treated, you get better.
Yeah.
That was the hardest moment of, you don't get better, you manage.
Well, yeah, this is something quite morbid for me, is that I've always had a very similar look on health. It's like, you get sick, you get diagnosed, you get treated, and either you get better and heal, or it kills you. That has always been kind of my view on it, because a lot of family members have passed away from things like cancer. They fought and got really well for years, and then obviously it's a reoccurring thing, so then they get it and then they pass away. So it was so scary to go through this, because it was like, what if it's something, and like hearing the word kind of incurable to me
means terminal,
was so scary. And it was like, it's going to kill me. And then obviously looking back at it now, it's like, that was such a silly thought. Like, this thing is not going to kill me. But at the time, it's like, you hear the word incurable, you can only manage it, and it's almost like, you know what they say to people before they're going to die, which is, we'll do the best we can to make you comfortable.
Yeah.
That was the kind of approach that was happening here with this discussion.
Yeah.
It was like, how do we make you comfortable? And it's like, what?
And it's such a hard thing to hear when you're young. Like, like, it's because I that's not silly, by the way. I'm just going to point that out, like, because that's completely, I'd see that as completely normal, because what we're presented as what disability is something really tragic anyway.
It is represented as tragic.
When you get a disability after living as an able-bodied person, you still have that internalized ableism in yourself. So you have to break those barriers down. So that's really normal. I had a similar thing. I was like, my life's over. Like, my life's over. Like, I have all these dreams. How am I going to do them? Thank God my dad was around. Because, like, he'd done this. Like, he'd done this whole, you have epilepsy now, you have to learn to live with it. I just hadn't realised he'd been on the same journey till we started talking about it. Then I went through this thing of, well, because it's this little thing called fibromyalgia, no one can see it, I've got no scars on my body, yada, yada. Oh, well, I'm not actually disabled, I'm just weird.
That's still something that goes through my mind. Obviously, I'm still in the baby stages of it, but that is still something that goes through my mind. Admitting to myself that I'm allowed to use a mobility aid, or I'm allowed to wear my sunflower lanyard if I actually do need the help when I go food shopping. I'm allowed to ask for that help, but even then, I'm still like, but I look so normal. Like,
isn't it? You look normal. It's like,
I look so normal and healthy. Like, I don't know
if you did this in the early stages of your diagnosis, but I remember standing in the mirror a lot and going, what the flip is wrong with me? Like,
yes, I did that a lot. I had a real bad so obviously you get body dysmorphia a lot, especially through teen years, I find, but this body dysmorphia was totally different. This was, I would get a mirror in front of me and look at my back, trying to find bruises or scars or big ugly veins or something. I was trying to find something, and I would like inspect myself before going to bed, because I was almost obsessive about checking myself for physical marks, because I was like, there's got to be something on my body that shows, that is definitive proof that this is an illness, that this is a condition I'm going to live with. It cannot be completely invisible. Surely I cannot live my entire life with no physical proof on my body that this is real.
Yeah. And you're searching for the proof. Yeah, you're searching for the proof because you want to show other people sometimes, right? You're like,
yes,
I just want to show you that this is normal. Again, thank God for my dad and my grandparents that had been through it with my dad. Because home never hit me with that, what I call unintentional ableism now. That never hit there. I was very lucky. In the outside world, I found it very hard, and I was still beating myself up every day. So yeah, the realization that there is no cure and coming to accept that is a very long road, and it is, and
it's one I still fight with, like just constantly fight with, like all the time. There's at least one argument that I have with myself a day. It will be just one argument, and it will happen every single day, and it will be a different topic as well. It's always like, well, you made dinner last night, why can't you make dinner tonight? Like, what's wrong with you? What's different today? Like, why do you need help today? You were fine.
Yeah, definitely.
And every day it's something different. It's like, oh, you managed to shower yesterday, why can't you shower today? And it's like, because it hurts.
And then you remind yourself, cut yourself some slack, girl. Like,
stop beating myself up.
This is the game against Mrs. Fibro. She's hard. She's hard.
Mrs. Doubt Fibro.
Like, it's hard. So yeah, I would say the change, I suppose. No words. Foggy moment. Here we go. So yeah, I would say the idea of what fibro had to do for me was basically break this mold of you. There are things out there where you don't get better and you learn to manage. And the longer I've had it, the more I come onto a road of okay, that's the way it is. But yeah, there are days I still have to remind myself that it's okay to be sick, because I am, and that also I will be up and about again at some point. Like, I will get there. I just have to get there at my pace, and stop seeing myself as like to able-bodied standards. Disabled standards are absolutely fine, and they're really normal, and that's my life now. So I deal with that. Like,
this is it. Do you know what? I had a thought a couple of weeks ago, and it was sort of like a eureka moment, and it's something that I've been holding on to every day since. And it's that doctors say that recovery is not linear, right? Any form of recovery is never linear. There will be bad days mixed in with the good, and it will always be that way in your recovery. And then I thought of fibro it's a constant recovery. You're constantly recovering from a flare or a new symptom or an old symptom that's causing more havoc today. It is a constant battle of recovery, and you have to remember that recovery is not linear. So whilst you might have 7 good days in a row, that 8th day might be one of your worst days ever, and that is okay, because it's not linear. It's not meant to be, and you shouldn't expect yourself to be linear with your recovery either, at no point.
I agree. That's why I don't like the word treatment. I like the word management. Because treatment implies it will get better.
And treatment implies there's an end goal.
And like with management, it gets better. But you have to also accept there will be days when it's not so. And that's
management also makes me think that you've got to put some work into that as well. You've got to think about your best method of management. How do you manage your life, as opposed to you have to force treatment into your day-to-day?
This is
management
why
sounds manageable.
It does sound manageable, right? You break it down into these bits, And when you say you've got to manage a task rather than do a task, manage means, okay, well, how am I going to approach this? How am I going to work this one out?
Yeah, and it opens this conversation with yourself that you wouldn't necessarily have. Like with treatment, I would think, well, this is actually how I was looking at it when I was first diagnosed. I started going to yoga every single week, one night a week, but it was a 2-hour session, which is a very long time.
Yeah.
But I did love it. I really enjoyed it, but I couldn't do it every single week. And for the weeks that I missed, I was so angry at myself because I was looking at it as treatment is something you have to do. You have to go to yoga to feel better. You have to take your medication to feel better and all of these other things. So when I missed yoga, I thought, okay, well, I've just messed up my treatment plan for the week. Like, that's it. My week is ruined because I didn't manage to go. But when I look at it as management, it's like, okay, well, I can't handle it this week. And that's fine. I don't have to go. No one's forcing me. It's up to me and my body, what I can handle today. And today is not a day for yoga. I'll go next week if I feel like it.
Yeah.
It lifts a weight off your shoulders to look at it differently.
You really hit a nail on the head there. Like, because a lot of it is about reframing your mind when you lose things that you want to do. A lot of it is like, well, okay, I can't manage that today, but I manage this and I'll do this, and then maybe in a few days or a day, or in a few hours sometimes, if I rest now, I might feel a little bit able to do this.
I might be able to get a little start on it.
It's hard though, especially in a world that's built so around routine. We go to normal world. This is a bit of a different world, but we go to work, we go out, we do things. When you miss one of those out
Friday
of your
night
cycle, when you miss one of those out of your cycle, it's hard not to beat yourself up about it. It takes a lot of practice to sort of give yourself slack, and I still fail at that.
The thing that I think I hate most is when I can't do my weekend plans, because obviously working like 9 till 6 Monday to Friday, the only thing you've got to look forward to is the weekend. And when the weekend rolls around, say I maybe pushed it a bit too far at Friday night drinks, or I just had a really rough week and I have to cancel my Saturday plans, I get so mad at myself. I'm like, I have been looking forward to this all week, and now you're going to waste your time in bed? You're just going to waste your day like that?
It's constant FOMO, isn't it? It's constant FOMO.
And then I just think, do you know what? I've got great friends that will FaceTime me whilst they're out, so I can experience it through the phone. And that's my middle ground.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
take me on the adventure on your phone.
I've built quite a big indoor life. I think we'll touch upon this in a podcast at some point. But yeah, I built different ways of enjoying things, definitely. But I'm with you on cancelling stuff. Weekend sometimes I have to really rest. And I know you do too, just because I've gone through the work, and we both do like full-time work, gone through the week.
I don't know if you find this, but it's easier to go out for drinks on a Friday night when you're in the office anyway, because you're already up, dressed and out.
Yeah,
and you can leave whenever you want.
You push. I find I push.
And then you can take the whole weekend to recover should you decide to push. But when it comes to like going for drinks on a Saturday, I'm way more likely to cancel that, because that involves getting up, getting in the shower, doing my hair, putting some form of face on, putting clothes on, traveling, going out, spending money. Whereas if I'm already at the office, I'm like, do you know what? I can push myself down the road to the pub. That'd be all right. I can do that.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, but like I find Fridays give me 2 days of rest, whereas Saturday gives me 1.
Exactly. Yes. I love 2 days of rest now. Like, it's become my favorite thing to just spend a whole weekend being like, cool.
This is why I love talking fibro life with you. It just sounds so normal.
It does. Don't message me on a Saturday. I'm always unavailable.
Yes, don't ask me to suddenly come out on a Saturday, because the likelihood is
God, never.
I mean, or if you're gonna do that, expect there might be a bit of no. There also might be a one time in the lifetime, yes. Like,
oh yeah, that like once in a blue moon. Well, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm raring for a night out, but that is once in a blue moon, and you have to pray on that.
And you never know when that's going to be. You might have had a better week that week, so you might be like, yeah, okay. Like, and then you might have a hell of a week and be like, no. So like that, before we wrap this up, this is what I hope people like our random ramblings. I do.
I know, we go off such tangents.
We do. It's hard. That's the hard thing. There's so much to cover sometimes.
There is.
But the term warrior, I wanted to ask you about it, like, because I personally love that term. I think it can be a bit of a positive one, because a warrior, to me, implies strength. And a lot of the time when you look at chronic illness, people might look at it and not see strength, they might see weakness, whereas I like to see strength, because I think managing this, you have to be strong within yourself. So I like it. I don't know about you, how you feel about it.
You know, warrior is one of my favorite terms. I love, like, it's in all of my like social media bios. I'm like, yeah, I'm a warrior. And what? And but I think everyone's a warrior in their own way too. Like, whether it's because my mum's the same. She's a mud queen, therefore she's an OCR warrior as well. You know, like everyone's got to have their own. Everyone's got their own battles. It's how you view them. And to call yourself a warrior, I think is just, it implies that you're brave, you're strong, you're patient, and you're not fighting alone as well. Warriors never battle one-on-one.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, because I ask, because a lot of people, you know, in the community, there's this argument sometimes that you're implying that you're fighting your illness rather than accepting it. And I'm like, I get that, I understand that, because if you frame things as fights, if you can frame things as fights, then you might push them away rather than deal with them. But then I would say I prefer the term warrior, because I think a true warrior doesn't just fight a fight and leave it. I think a true person that is fighting a battle, whether it be one in your life or whatever, continues working towards a cause or a something that they want, where they want to achieve. And I know I want to achieve just like in my life. So
yeah, this is it. When I think warrior, I don't think one big battle. I think lots of little battles, which is what fibro feels like. It's lots of little battles, battling with yourself to get out of bed, battling with yourself to get in the shower, you know. And it's not a battling as in a beat myself up. It is a struggle to do these things. So it is a fight sometimes, and especially on the bad days and during the flares, it is so hard. So to call myself a warrior makes me think, do you know what? I am tough as nails, I am brave, and I can do this.
Isn't it? Yeah, I can have a shower, I can make a cup of tea.
I did a load of washing today. I am the warrior queen.
I got dressed.
Yes, this is it. Like, it's not one big battle that you're trying to get rid of this illness. Not for me anyway. For me, it's lots of little battles that make you human.
Yeah, like, I don't know about you studied classics too, right? So when I think of the term warrior, I think of people like Achilles. And, those kind of heroes, right? Like gladiator type thing, you know, Russell Crowe.
Well, you think about Odysseus, he went through like 6 different battles to get home. Like,
there you go.
Didn't stop.
Exactly, like Hercules and his labors. Like that to me is what I see the word as, which is why it's like empowering to myself. I get what some people are saying with it, and everyone has their own opinion, but I personally like the term fibro warrior.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate where that thought comes from, and I can see how you get to that thought process. But for me personally, a warrior is an empowering term, and it's a way to connect with other people as well. That's a big part of it for me. Because when I see other people on social media and it says something warrior, I'm like, they're doing the same battle as me.
I think it's a way of hitting back at the abled community, not hating on the abled, like, good.
No, but it's also,
you all, but you pity a lot. They pity a lot. In societal norms, it's pitying, and the word warrior does not imply someone to be pitied.
Well, when I got diagnosed, the amount of messages I got saying, I'm so sorry you have this, like, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know. And whilst those messages are meant with love and they're meant to be supportive, what that made me feel like is a very sick child. It made me feel like I might be dying. Like, that's how those messages made me feel. They were filled with so much sympathy and so much pity, to the point that I was like, oh, maybe this illness is really bad. Maybe I can't do things for myself. Maybe I do need lots of help. No. Don't let able-bodied people in their misguided loveliness.
In their well-intentioned ignorance, I think. And there's a lot of like negativity towards people that are able-bodied, and yes, I am one of those people that sometimes gives off that vibe. But it is because it is this well-intentioned ignorance that I would love people to educate themselves so they don't do it. But that comes with activism and fighting, and you know.
And that comes with people wanting to learn. Like, it's it's a battle on, again, you've got to be a warrior on both sides.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, when you were, this is how I know that I have had this way too long, and I have a very deep sense of words. When you were saying those messages and what they said, part of me wanted to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Not gonna lie, because I was like physically, I was like, oh,
yeah, cringe.
The thing is, and this is disability across the board. You're gonna give it. Thank you for giving sympathy. Sympathy is nice. But we're still people, and pity.
My life isn't
doesn't
over.
Help. Yeah, pity doesn't help because it's a negative emotion, and you're giving me that because I'm not fitting into your outlook of what a normal person is. What the hell is a normal person? We're all bloody different. Like, you know,
who wants to be normal anyway? Normal's boring.
Yeah, normal's boring, right? I wouldn't be who I am without my fibro warrior status. So.
Yes, without my crown.
So yeah, exactly. This has been a cool chat today. So
it's been lovely.
I wanted to round this off because I sent you a warrior anniversary package. Do you have it?
It's coming too. It's coming too.
Yeah, so I sent you some things. Sorry they're not wrapped. I couldn't afford the £4 wrapping paper.
That's well expensive.
I know, but the love is there. So I've sent you some warrior gifts to celebrate your fibro anniversary. You have to describe what they are, though, for people listening to this on the podcast.
Scrumptious socks for cozy toes. And they're purple.
Yeah.
Yes, fibro colours. Oh, stop it, Galaxy.
Because everyone deserves a treat when they've managed well. Like,
I love it. Oh, what is this? It's a spoon. Drink tea, read book, be happy. I love it. For me.
Happy fibro anniversary, girl.
Thank you. You've got to try and make up a date for yours so we can get you a little present.
One day I'm gonna request my medical notes. God knows how long they are. Just for the pure curiosity of it, then I'll nail it down. So each of these represents something. Like, so the spoon is pretty obvious. And one day I'm pretty sure we'll run through what spoon theory is in more detail here, because we're running out of time today. But yeah, so the spoon is there, so you always have a spoon left over, and you can make your tea with it, because I know you love a cup of tea, which is why I chose the one that said drink tea.
And the books.
Yes.
I love it.
And because it had books on it. Beth's a bookworm, so it worked really well. So it's a personalised spoon for you, and also they're all quite restful activities on that spoon.
They are. They're very much spoon-friendly activities.
Feels like this is the perfect spoon. The socks represent you can always dress comfortably. There's no shame in it. And you should always love that, and these things can be pretty. The reason they're purple, you hit the nail on the head straight away, is because that's the fibro colour. It's always cute. Yes. And the chocolate is just because, everyone needs chocolate.
I bloody love it.
But yeah, happy anniversary, girl. It's been fun talking today.
Thank you so much. It's been so much fun. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm going to go put my fluffy socks on.
This is it. So yeah, and the thing is also, because we're podcasting, no one will see when you've got them on.
Yes. Do you know what? I thought this earlier. I was like, do you know what? I can wear whatever socks I want. It don't matter.
Exactly. So yeah.
Thank you so much for these.
That's all right.
Made me so happy.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure.
Well, that's this one rounded up then, I think, nicely.
Yeah, it's been lots of fun. I've enjoyed it.
Me too. Thanks for listening to the Slut Drops Hurt podcast.
We hope you join us for our next episode.
Connect with us for news on our latest podcast projects and much more. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and TikTok under the name Slut Drops Hurt.
For now, we are sending gentle hugs and wishing you all the spoons you need.